Hi guys, TinaGale here with another Focus on Sketches 3 Ways or More. And this time we're going to be looking at this double page sketch from Scrapbook Generation. This is a free sketch that they had available for download in June of 2016, so that you can go to their website and find that. They have a free sketch every month, and they have a Facebook page with lots of sketches and challenges and things, so be sure to check them out. Today I'm going to focus on taking this double page sketch, and I really like this side of it, so I'm just going to create a one-page layout using half of this sketch. And I'm going to keep everything just the way that it is, but butt up against the right-hand side of the page. You could move this over and center it if you wanted to. Anything would be completely acceptable, but I'm going to concentrate on that. I am using 3 photos just like they are. I have this older click kit that I'm working with. I've pulled out the paper and some of the embellishments that were included in it that I hadn't worked from before, but I thought they would be fun with these photos. So like I said, I have these 3 photos and then just paper, which most of it I believe is Ellie Studio. Little Moments. This is from Fancy Pants. I haven't decided whether I'm going to pull that in or not. Yeah, so I think it's all Elle Studio. And Jelly Bean Soup. So the cups are from Jelly Bean Soup. So since these were pictures about us eating on a trip, I decided that would be a fun way to tie that in, and it had all of the different colors on it to create my color scheme, and then I would just pull in these tone on tones. I've got my background papers adhered and my 2 large photos just according to the sketch. And now I'm working on these bottom strips, and I just played with the different colors and tried to get them in the order that was pleasing to my eye anyways. This layout seemed to take me forever, and I'm not really quite sure why, but I just had trouble making decisions and trying to decide what looked best. And I think I usually do that anytime I work with Elle Studio papers, and I'm not quite sure. I don't know if it's because they're a little bit more bright, happy colors, where I tend to kind of scrap with the kind of muted and just soft colors. But I don't know. I struggled quite a bit trying to decide on patterns and what looked best beside each other and with the embellishments as well. But in the end, it came together and I was quite happy. So far, everything that I have down is exactly according to the sketch. Took all of the dimensions for the papers and everything just straight from the sketch. Now I'm just going through the kit and pulling out any of the embellishments that I think that will go with it, either color-wise or theme with words that I'm going to tell about in this story. These photos are of a trip that we took to Orlando to visit my son. We were driving down, and we normally always drive straight through. I think the last trip on the way home was the first time we've ever stopped and gotten a hotel room. We just take turns driving. We stop and maybe dine out in a restaurant or something to take a little break. We've stopped at rest areas. There's a couple of really nice rest areas that we know about and we stop at if we get really tired. But we pretty much drive straight through, so it's a really long drive. It's about 22 hours, pushing it really hard, and a little bit longer. So this one, we had packed some lunches to take with us to eat on the first leg of the trip, and then we would stop when we got closer to Florida. So a couple of the photos to the left are ones that we had stopped and we were fueling, getting out, and kind of walking around and stretching, and we had fixed some sandwiches and we're sitting there eating and just being goofy and laughing and having fun as a family. So we had taken some photos. My daughter had snapped some photos of my husband and I. And then the photo on the right was when the next morning when we had come into Florida and we finally stopped and we went to Cracker Barrel for breakfast and just kind of chilled for a little while and went shopping. So I just wanted to document that's the typical way that we drive down to Florida, and just documenting the fun that we kind of have and just relaxing and chilling even though it is a hard drive. So I've pulled out a few things from the ephemera packs just with words and things, and I had these clear kind of a die cut out of vellum paper on these hearts. So I wanted to use those, and also these acrylic words that were from Jelly Bean Soup. At first they really just kind of puzzled me because they don't really show up on the pattern paper that I'm using. So I started to just not use them, and I thought, no, I've been doing Chamel's class on the 20 days, and she had been doing things with different mediums, and I thought, you know, I just need to pull out my paints and do something a little bit different, take the time to do it. And so I kind of did that, except for I did stay lazy and I didn't go dig out my paint because I can't get to my closet right now where they're stored. So I decided to use the Heidi Swapp Color Shine. And it did color it, but it's kind of sticky and it was a mess, and I don't think I'd really recommend using the Color Shine on these pieces. Go ahead and get out like acrylic paints or something like that. It works, but it's not the best alternative, so I don't think I'll be doing it again. But I had coral and I had the teal, and so that was going to work with the color scheme I had going and the papers that I had. So I just kind of spritzed them, and then I grabbed a paintbrush and tried to kind of like dab so that it would get down into the acrylic pieces. And then I set them off to dry, and you could see them kind of blowing around. My ceiling fan is on, so they were just like blowing all over my table. But I got them done. I decided to cut this one in half so I can put a little bit on each side of the photos, and I'm just trying to get something up behind the embellishments. Again, I'm struggling even with just the embellishments. I just can't get the layering to look the way that I normally scrap and stuff. So on the left-hand side, there's a little journaling spot in the sketch. And I knew I was going to have quite a bit to say, and that little bitty square was not going to do it. So I'll probably journal on the back of this layout. I might be able to do it underneath on the heart pattern paper at the bottom. I could do that, and it would kind of go into the text that's on that paper above it. So we'll see. I haven't journaled on it yet. But I just decided to use a tag and start the layering onto the left-hand side. So I put the tag on and then that vellum piece, and then just labeling up some other words. So I'm still playing with the embellishments that I'd pulled out, and it still wasn't quite enough. So I ended up going to my stamp set, again, because of the Chamel class I've been watching. Kind of inspired me to go ahead and pull out my stamps and see what I could find. And I have this great stamp. It was a stamp of the month from Close to My Heart, and it's all travel themed. So I decided to pull it out, and it had this stamp here that I really wanted to use, and it said, "Eat well, travel often." And I didn't have any embellishment pieces where all of that would fit on there together. So I just inked up the top where it says "Eat well" on that Today little ephemera piece. And then I'm going to stamp the rest of it down below once I finish this. So here are those acrylic pieces from Jelly Bean Soup, and I'm going to put those as part of the title. And then I also had the word stickers that came in this kit. So I'm going to pull one of those out. There was one that says "Sweet" in the pink. So I decided to do it. So kind of my title, what I'm going with is Sweet Memories, but then it also says Treasured Photographs, and then down below it's going to say Eat Well and Awesome and Travel Often. So lots of little subtitles going on. This little arrow is from the stamp set as well, and I just stamped different things in different colors so that I could just pull them out. So I'm just working with the gray and the pink and the teal, basically. And these were the little acrylic hearts, and I decided I wanted to spread those around. I had sprayed those in pink. And then I had some wood veneer that I wanted to kind of pull in. And I had 3 different pieces to go in my embellishment clusters, and those hearts were one. But I ended up not making the hearts into the layout. I did keep the one that circle that says "Love This" on the right-hand side. I kept it, but I didn't do the other. So I'm not sure I'm quite wild about that I only have the one wood veneer and I didn't repeat it, but I'm going to live with it. So then I still wanted something else circular, and so it had in the stamp set this one that had a gas pump, and since we had stopped and were fueling and doing our little rest break, I decided that would make a great embellishment. So I stamp it in a few different colors trying to decide what I want. And that black is just really too dark. I thought it might work since I had done the other stamping, and I know I'm going to do one more stamping in the black. but it just kind of stood out too much, and I just wanted something faded into the background just to build up the cluster. So I ended up going with this ink pad that's called Glacier. It's one of my favorite colors. It is just such a pretty kind of just a sea foamy blue. I don't know. It's just gorgeous. So I ended up going with that one. I'm going to tuck it up above. And then I take this layout to my sewing machine, and I'm going to sew across the acrylic pieces of the words that I put on. So I had just put just a little bit of adhesive, just enough to kind of keep it on there until I could sew across it. And then here's where I'm going to stamp the rest of that travel often, and so I'm just masking off the top of it so that I can just get the stamping on the bottom. And I think that's pretty much going to finish it. I had some sequins in gray and kind of the teal color, so I kind of spread those around. Oh, and I did sprinkle. I had this teal color shine, and I decided again, I thought, well, maybe if I sprinkle some of that around, it'll help kind of tie it in and fill it up. So, but that was it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Here are some still shots, and I will be back next Thursday with another layout using this sketch. So thanks for watching. Bye.